I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and there, on the edge of town, there was an institution called Apple Creek State Hospital for people with intellectual disabilities. And my mother was a big gardener and used to take me there in the summer to help the patients, as they called them at the time, adults with intellectual disabilities, garden. And so from the time I was a toddler, I would hang out doing that. And I just got used to people who were different, who acted differently, who weren't maybe the same as the rest of us, and knew that they needed to be treated just like the rest of us, and my little sense of social justice and kicked in, and here I am. I started my undergraduate degree right when a federal special education law was passed that gave children with disabilities the right to go to a free public education. It was the first time parents had a real right to participate in planning for their kids. And so that's really, I think, where I got my advocacy bug, is meeting those families, talking to them, and trying to figure out how you worked as a team to build a real life for kids. Katy Beckett was the daughter of a woman named Julie Beckett. Katy was born a typical child and then got spinal meningitis at a very young age. Was really sick, went to the hospital, and stayed for the first 3 years of her life. And if she left the hospital, she would lose her Medicaid coverage. But as long as she stayed in the hospital, she was Medicaid eligible. And Ronald Reagan said, well, that's not right, and developed a waiver program that would allow kids with special health care needs, whose families made a little bit too much money, to be able to stay on Medicaid in order to get the services they needed. There's every reason to believe that this year it's going to happen, and then families will be able to make use of it. I have never met anyone who thinks that people with disabilities, children and adults, don't deserve a hand up or a leg up or whatever it is that however you describe that. But there's always a caveat, which is to say, well, if it's really expensive, we ought to take care of them, but we're not always willing to enable them, for example. And I think that's the never-ending challenge. Is it really not about charity? For us, it's about empowerment. It really is about how you construct an environment and build a community that supports even its weakest members. My mom was proud of my work. She was.